Breyer's Music Showcase is brought to you by the people over at Patreon. Pledge today and get access to exclusive perks. Link in the description. Welcome to Breyer's Music Showcase. I'm Bryer Cisneros and welcome back to another video. And in this one, it's that time once again where I go through all the CDs I acquired throughout the month. Now I'll be honest, it was pretty slow this April. I didn't get as much as I normally get, which in some regards that's probably a good thing. But you know, these past months before I get over 10s, 20s, 30s, like I think it was February where I picked up like 70 CDs. So this time I only picked up 13. So this one will be a bit shorter than normal. But I still got some interesting stuff here, and I look forward to kind of showcase them here. So as always, if you enjoy my monthly CD hauls, please make sure you give this a like, subscribe if you are new. And without further ado, let's just jump and listen as I give my first impressions on a lot of these. Okay, so the first four have a very similar, I don't know how you say, they both have the same story behind them. So let me just quickly showcase these real quick. So first one I'll showcase is Jonathan Coulton, Best Concert Ever. Then we have Zach Top, Cold Beer and Country Music. And we have Sammy Davis Jr. with the Sammy Davis Jr. Show. And we have The Killers with Hot Fuzz. Now, these two I've unboxed on camera before, but the other two I have not shown before, at least on this channel here. And of course, all four have the same story. Again, I've said these many times, but I'm part of an album exchange group, and we all nominate an album that we all listen to, and we all kind of talk about them. So this was Jason's, this was Jacob's, this was Nick's, and then this was Scott's. And Adam's another one in the group, but he nominated Slow Hand by Eric Clapton, which I already owned, so I already am familiar with that one. And the one that I nominated was a Cher album, and of course I know that album. So I need to get these four. And you know, like always, I don't like giving my opinions on these albums because I know all four of these people watch my videos, so I don't want to spoil it. But here's what I'll do. This will probably be something I might do moving forward, but when I get to these types of albums, I'm not going to say my opinion on them, but I will rank them. I'm not going to give any more context than that. Just because it's fourth place, I'm not going to say I love it, I'm not going to say I hate it. It's just in fourth place, because based on that. So here we go. Let's see what I have here. So in fourth place, I will put the Jonathan Coulton album, which is a live album, by the way. Then in third place, I will put the Zach Top album. Just put it right in front of me like this. Second place, we'll go with Sammy Davis Jr. Just gonna put that there. And then it goes without saying, in the first place, then we have The Killers' Hot Fuzz. So again, just because this is in fourth place, I'm not going to say I love it or hate it. That's all the context you're going to get. But there you go. Those are the four albums I want to show first off. All right, and this next one is another one I unboxed on camera. And that was this one. That's Audio Slave with their self-titled debut. Came out in 2002. And I've said this before, but this is part of the request I got from Patreon, and this was Scott's request, and you can tell I bought it. And yeah, all I'll say, if you want to see my in-depth thoughts, go watch that video. It's on Patreon, it's free. But what I'll say here is that it was really good. Good rock album. Great vocals, guitar work was cool, and yeah, I dug it. So that's all I'm going to say, because yeah, I said most of what I said on the Patreon video, but this was definitely a nice introduction to the band. So excellent kind of, well, suggestion, and also a good album for me to discover. Alright, so from this point onward, these are albums I have not shown on this channel before. First one in this category is an artist I'm not sure how many people know, Honestly, probably few, because I don't know how popular she was when she first came out, but we have an artist named Carla Bonoff. And this is her first album, I want to say. Came out in 1977. And I'll be honest, I only bought it for one specific reason. And it's the fact that there's a song on here called Isn't It Always Love? And I actually knew that song beforehand because I actually know a cover of it first. And that cover was done none other than Maria Takeyoshi off her second studio album, University Street.
Isn't it always love that makes you hang your head? Isn't it always love that makes you hang your head?
And I really enjoyed Maria's version of it. And so when I found out it was actually a cover of an American singer, I was like, hey, I'm on board with that. And yeah, I found this at a record store and I just had to get it solely because of that song. And I will say, I would say I still prefer Maria's, honestly. Again, that's just personal to me. But her version is actually pretty solid too. Bit more stripped back. I think Maria had a bit more production on it. But her version is nice too. And the rest of the album is kind of nice. Very pleasant sounding. There's elements of pop, but then there's also elements of like folk rock in here scattered throughout the album. And it's just a very solid album. I really dug it. So nothing amazing, but probably worth checking out. You might dig it if you're into more chiller type of music, kind of soft rock also, if I were to also put another label on this. But yeah, that is Carla Bonoff. I've been getting into Cher recently, and I picked up yet another one, and this is 1998's Believe. Of course, we know this album solely for the massive hit single, of course the title track, and you know, it's one of those songs that I feel like there's going to be two camps of it. There's people that absolutely adore the song, and there's people that probably will absolutely hate it, because this is one of the songs that really pioneered the use of auto-tune. And I know there's plenty of people who really despise autotune with a passion, and so I can definitely see those people not liking the song. Personally, I've always dug the song. It just has this cool like dance pop vibe that I kind of really dug, and I think Cher sounded really nice, and I think the autotune kind of helps in the performance, honestly. That's just me. And another thing to add is that aside from Believe, I think the rest of the album doesn't use autotune that much. I think the title song was the one that used it the most, but everything else, I think she sung it fairly clean. Again, maybe they made it more subtle, not sure, but that's just another thing I kind of observed. So again, I don't really see this being anybody's favorite Cher album if you like a Euro dance sound, but there are some songs I really dug. You know, The Power is actually pretty nice. All or Nothing was solid. Love is the Groove. Taking Back My Heart. Those songs I thought were kind of solid. Again, nothing mind-blowing, but it was pretty fun overall. So, not my favorite Cher album so far, but yeah, I had a good time. I believe I said one time that I was not going to get as much out of this band for a while, but when I saw this album, I had to pick it up. We have Jethro Tull's Benefit. And this is when the band was still in that folk rock, blues rock phase, and I knew it got a good reputation, and I found it, picked it up, and overall pretty impressed by it. It still has that blues rock edge, but it's a little bit heavier than stuff prior, or maybe even some stuff after. It has more of a hard rock edge, which I really enjoyed, really appreciate that. And overall, it's a good rock album. Songs that really stuck out were With You There. Let me say that again. With You There to Help Me. I don't know why I had a hard time saying that. But in any case, Nothing to Say was pretty good. Inside was pretty good too. Teacher was also a fun song, and this particular CD copy kind of is more inclined to the original UK version, because I think in the US they swapped Teacher with a different song. So I'm pretty happy I got the UK version. But besides that, Yeah, it's another really good Jethro Tull album. Not sure where it would rank now because I have a good chunk of their catalog at this point now, but I can see this being pretty high. Maybe on more listens, I'll like it even more. But yeah, very happy to get another Jethro Tull album. So I'm pretty confident. Maybe for the time being, I'll take a break on Jethro Tull. But who knows, maybe if there's another album that I need to check out, feel free to let me know in the comments. And now we move along to progressive rock, and here we have one of the pillars of the genre. Here is King Crimson with their third studio album, Lizard. Now, Lizard is part of a period of the band where there's definitely a lot of change. You know, we had In the Court of the Crimson King, we had The Wake of Poseidon, which has a similar vibe. But Lizard is where the band really started to shift. Lineups were changing up quickly, and Robert Fripp was at the helm, leading the charge. And here they really did something completely different to what they did prior, and that's going to be a common thing moving forward, always evolving their sound. And this album is one of those where I see a lot of mixed reviews on it. Some people really dig it, some people think it's kind of lackluster. Honestly, I kind of dug it. I thought it was a pretty cool album. Of course, yeah, there's no Greg Lake or people like that, but I think the people that are playing did a really nice job. Still has some great guitar moments from Robert Fripp. Definitely has a more jazzy, more avant-garde approach, but I think it worked out very nicely. There was nothing on here that caught me off guard, aside from maybe, I'm trying to remember which song it was. I want to say it was either Happy Family or Lady of the Dancing Water, where the singer had this effect on the voice where I thought I could have done without. But besides that moment, everything else was pretty good. You have Circus, and then you have Indoor Games, and then there's also the 20-minute song, the title track, which is pretty cool. And you also have John Anderson of Yes guesting on that particular song. So that was kind of a nice little treat. So overall, I really dug Lizard. And yeah, I still want to keep venturing more into King Crimson's catalog. Just one of the most fascinating progressive rock bands. Very eclectic progressive rock, but still very interesting, very cool to kind of deep dive one day. Now let's move on to some southern rock. We have Molly Hatchet with Flirtin' with Disaster. Now this album is pretty notable, as many people have said that it's their best album and their best-selling album as well. And yep, I definitely need to get this one because I actually do have the debut album already. It's in my collection. I really dug the debut, and after hearing this one, it's kind of hard to say. I might need to listen to the debut again because it's been a while. But this could be my favorite now, because I think what I like about Molly Hatchet is that they're definitely a bit more heavy. You know, I really enjoyed Lynyrd Skynyrd. I'd say they're still my favorite, but Molly Hatchet is kind of a more heavier band. The guitars are more up front, a lot more heavier riffs, and overall this is a very more kind of more raw edge to them, which I really dug. And also the album covers are pretty badass. I mean, just look at that. Pretty awesome. And most of their album covers are in this style, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like Whiskey Man is excellent. It's All Over Now. Junkin City. The title track is really great. Gunsmoke. The Good Times Roll. Yeah, top to bottom, a very strong southern rock album, and definitely recommend it if you're into the genre, if you have not heard it. If you've not, go ahead, give it a listen. Alright, and now we have some more pop here. We got good old Lionel Richie, and we have the album Dancing on the Ceiling. So yeah, this is actually the follow-up to his previous album, Can't Slow Down, which is a great pop album. And so how did this one fare? I really like it, but not as much as Can't Slow Down. I feel like Can't Slow Down had a lot more songs that really hit you quickly. I could see this album kind of growing on me on multiple listens, because it's definitely not as not as like, I don't know, strong as Can't Slow Down, but there's still some very strong moments on here. I really dug the title track, the first song, which is a good way to kind of introduce the album, kind of sets the tone. Then you have Sila, I believe how you say it, which is kind of him doing a reggae thing, which was kind of interesting. Not 100% into it, but vibe was okay. Ballerina Girl was pretty good. Don't Stop was nice. But by far my favorite song on here is the song Say You, Say Me, which it's a great ballad song, but it's also a song that kind of funny because of course it was used in the movie Rio.
Naturally. Yeah, sing it, Lionel.
And ever since then, me and my brother quote that scene so many times, especially when Lionel Richie in general just pops up on the radio or something. But still, a very good album. I like it. Again, probably not as strong as Can't Slow Down, but how can ya? Still, good stuff here. Nearing the end here, we have Roxy Music with their album Stranded from 1973. So, it's been a long time since I picked up another Roxy Music album, because for the longest time all I had was Country Life, which has that very risque cover, and honestly this one is still kind of risque, but not as risque, if you know what I mean. But I've always wanted to check out more Roxy Music because they're definitely a band that has a pretty big following. They're not as like mainstream. I know in the UK they were pretty big, but not so much here in the US. So found this album. I know this is kind of a somewhat popular album for them, and this is the first album without Brian Eno. Of course, Brian Eno will go on to have a very luxurious career after he left the band, but this is the first album without him. And I also read that despite not being on it, Brian has said that this is his favorite Roxy Music album, which is kind of funny. That said, how do I feel about the album? It's pretty good. Again, Roxy Music, this is what I've heard. They're still a band that definitely needs more than one listen because they have a very, very unique sound. It's kind of quirky, very artsy, but there's still rock elements to it. Maybe have a little bit of a glam rock edge, a little bit. But it's just something I need to spend more time with because I really want to get into them a lot more because I know, like, for all the reasons I've said, they have a pretty big following. But yeah, this is still pretty good. I think I still prefer Country Life. I think that's a stronger album to me. But I can see this being someone's favorite. Definitely a bit more straightforward because I've heard their first two are a little bit more like, not, I wouldn't say out there, but there's definitely more experimentation on those. So hopefully maybe one day we'll check out the first two albums and see how I feel about those. But still, very glad to own more Roxy Music. It's good to have more than one. So yeah, if you have a suggestion, let me know on more Roxy Music. And the final CD to showcase in this haul for the month of April, we have Gary Wright with the album The Dreamweaver. Now this album is pretty notable because it has the song Dreamweaver, which was a big hit, and I've always known that song for a number of years, especially because it was part of that. So besides that, I knew nothing else from this album, and you know what? This was a really good album. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. You know, Gary Wright is known as a keyboardist, and I believe he was in the band Spooky Tooth originally, but he went solo. And because he's a keyboardist, there's a ton of keyboard sounds, playing with a lot of synthesizers on this. And there were some really great melodies to it, and the production was pretty nice. I really liked the overall vibe of the whole thing. And his voice is pretty solid. I really dig his voice. Kind of has a good set, kind of fits the tone very nicely, and it just suits the songs well. Again, I'm not saying he's amazing, but again, I'm not going to say he's amazing, but overall, very strong stuff. And besides this title track, of course, Love Is Alive, which is really good, Let It Out, Made to Love You, Blind Feeling, Much Higher, Feel For Me. It's just an excellent kind of art rock, soft rock, pop pop, whatever you want to put it. Very, very lovely. And yeah, there you go. That is the final CD in this haul. Okay, and there you have it. That's all the CDs I've picked up for the month of April. So again, not a lot this time, and honestly this could be the end of my spending binging days, but we'll see what May has to offer. There's a lot of time in May, so anything can happen. But other than that, hopefully you've enjoyed this CD haul. As always, in the comments below you can let me know your thoughts on any of the albums shown, and give it a like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, and goodbye for now.